do we think that we're gonna get gifted more starters, right? So like the game starts,
yes,
and you're
I
given.
think it's gonna be Greninja.
Yeah, so the game starts, you're given
Just
Chespin, Fennekin, Froakie, and then typically in X and Y, as you progress the story, Professor Sycamore gives you 3 Kanto starters, right? So the idea
But it gives
here,
you only one. There's
Sure.
just 3 to choose.
yes, exactly. Yeah, you get to choose between those 3, but you can pick whatever one you want. But the idea, the fun part
But
is
no,
like,
this time he's gonna show you 3 Pokeballs. One's a Froakie, the other's a Froakie, and the other's a Froakie. It's gonna be like, no, just Froakie.
yeah, Froakie, Charmander, or other Froakie.
Right. Or the other Charmander.
Oh,
One
Froakie.
does X, one does Y.
Yeah, it's their version exclusives.
I can just really see them doing like a Greninja gift because it might not be a starter, especially if they don't go with the Kalos starters. You know what I mean?
Crazy. Yeah.
Then they're just gonna give Greninja as a gift because Greninja has to be in this game.
Sure.
I mean,
oh,
the
you
thing
mean
is-
like a
well,
mystery
it's gonna
gift
be
or like
wild.
a,
In his
like in,
Hisui-
Sinnoh.
yeah. In Hisui, you could find them in the wild, so that is a possibility as well. I mean, I think it's actually confirmed, like definite gonna happen if they don't,
yeah.
like give them to us.
So,
Yeah,
but-
I mean, it's just a question, I think, like, of who the starter Pokemon are this time around, because, like, you know, I could see it being the Kalos. The reason they weren't the Sinnoh ones in Hisui was because, like, the in real world reason is because, like, we just played Brilliant Diamond Shining Pearl. I just chose between Chimchar, Piplup, and Turtwig. I don't want to have to use it again, you know, so they give us a new starter option, and of course still have the other 3 in the wild if I want to use them. But
yeah, and you
that's
get to add that
actually-
new mechanic.
that's a
there's no
really-
Kalos game before this one, so
That's
they
a
might
really good
just
point,
give us the Kalos starters.
That's a good point to like if Snivy is actually a starter, because if we get Black and White remakes before this, will they want to give us Snivy as a starter again?
That's true.
The only one that I can confidently, like 99%, I'm like, this has to be, is Piplup. It has to be Piplup.
The
Why?
Napoleon thing, yeah.
Yeah, because Napoleon Bonaparte.
Well, that's the
like,
thing, Dusty. Do you remember in the trailer that revealed the starters coming to Blueberry Academy? It
Yes, I
the
do
very
know this.
first opening shot was Cyndaquil and Torchic, Piplup and Oshawott, and Rowlet and Snivy. So people have thought, okay,
it's
well
on my
maybe
Twitter if you want to look.
Oh, yours?
Snivy, Piplup, and Torchic are the next Legend Stars since they were with the previous Legend Starters.
Well, we don't think
and the
mine
neat
is
thing
right?
about that. What?
No, who knows? But
The neat thing about that, though, is that Superior is based off of, like, French royalty. Empoleon is based off of Napoleon. And the rooster, Torchic, is literally the national bird of France. Or the
Love
national animal of France.
Le Chicon.
yeah, the only one I think, if there was one to get cut, it would be Torchic because it already has a Mega. But
Right.
I'm starting to like
No,
not.
that does not
believe
matter. That doesn't matter. That
I'm
doesn't
starting
matter.
to not believe it as much because there's 2 types of Megas and there might even be a 3rd one in this game. So
Yeah.
it's like, you know, it's like Torchic, Blaziken gets
Blaziken Z.
Blaziken Z
Yeah.
or Blaziken Y or X or something like that.
I'm down with this. There are the thing that actually matters to me is the fact that it's 2 different birds. Because I do think
that is true. That is true.
I do
don't
think
think
Game
that
Freak
that's-
likes, and also like, well, you have cute. I don't know. I feel like
They're too
Piplup and
similar.
Torchic.
I know.
Yeah, the
It
personality.
is
But-
weird that there's not a mammal in there, I'll say that.
Yeah.
I think that it could be Piplup and Snivy and then Litten. That's
Dude,
what I think.
Litten
'cause
would
the-
be so cool. The black cat just
Black
wandering around
Cat
the
thing
city.
is actually-
Incineroar, oh my gosh.
And Incineroar
I
sounds
am
French.
okay with it. if it, like,
Incineroar.
is down on all fours like a
Well,
cat
no,
or
I meant
something.
because of a competitive Mega Incineroar. That's
Well, maybe they removed something.
horrifying.
Yeah.
Listen, just think about Garchomp, bro. They're not gonna put Mega Incineroar in the game. They're gonna be like, "Here's Mega Garchomp. It's worse than Garchomp." You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And-
Well, the big issue really is like what its ability will be. That's what it'll come down to.
Yeah, they just nerf the ability. They just take away Intimidate, and that's
They
it.
give
That's
it
the only
Truant.
reason why it's good, right?
It gets a different ability.
It
Yeah.
gets Truant.
Yeah, it gets like it
That'd be
gets
awful.
it gets what's the opposite of intimidate? It's like runaway.
No, run away would not work.
That's all its Mega can do. It just
Anyways,
run away.
I like this. I like this starter trio better. This is way.
I mean,
cooler.
there's some that we like. but
you have like nice, you have silly, and you have cool, and these are also just better starters.
I think that 2 of them having a Mega really hurts this to me.
Oh, that's true. Both Sceptile and Blastoise have Megas.
I don't think that matters.
I think for
I don't think
2,
I think it would for 2.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, actually, no, you're right. Maybe it does matter because then it basically confuses. It would be like
unless they reveal beforehand that it's gonna have a different mega. It would be, I'd be under the assumption, well, why would I pick Torchic? I've already used that mega. I need to use Snivy or Piplup.
Here's the thing. I think that's a good point, but I think my whole concept with us getting a new set of starters is that they would then get new regional evolutions. That's my thought. So if they get new regional evolutions, then those regional evolutions could also get megas, but probably not. Right? If you get get a Collision Blastoise,
you gotta get your terminology down right. Bro.
I did.
It's regional forms.
It's regional forms.
Regional evolutions.
What? Regional evolutions are Berserker and Clodsire.
Yeah, they're forms.
Okay,
I know.
All right. They're whatever. All right. I think this is the same thing, but okay.
It's not the same thing. But I was just about to say the same kind of thing, Dusty. Is just that I am still like on the fence, like kind of disappointed about the whole Megas idea because I want them to get
I know, I get
forms.
you. I agree with you. I don't think I like
forms.
Megas as much. I watched back I watched my reaction back and I was so hyped and then they announced Megas and I didn't even care. I was like, okay, Megas.
I didn't either. I saw so many of those tweets that were like, it says Legends and then it's like, and then Megas and everyone freaks out, but I was the opposite.
Yeah.
Did you watch any reaction videos? I watched M&J TV's.
I didn't.
And his was exactly my process. Like he was freaking out over the Legends ZA thing, but then when it showed the Mega Evolution symbol, he went, well, yeah. That was exactly my reaction. I was like, well, yeah, of course, it's Kalos.
Yeah,
that's totally true. I felt very similar. I was just like, oh, Megas. Duh. It's like...
I mean, I'm excited about it, but like, I kind of assumed it with the Kalos part. I didn't need the Mega Evolution symbol. I'm glad they gave it to us. It's always nice to confirm it, but...
A part of me even has a little bit of reservation towards if they will give us new Megas, period. Or if it will just be every one of them returning.
That is true because and
then it's just regional forms.
Megas came back in Let's Go. Granted, it's obviously a completely different game. But Megas did come back in Let's Go and nothing else was added.
Yeah, it's just Megas.
But they didn't come back in Let's Go. They were in Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon, and Sun and Moon. I never understood that about Let's Go. Was that they were like, oh look, Mega Evolution. It's like at that point, Mega Evolution had never left the game, so it's like, why is this a big deal?
They were kind of like revealing their hand there. They were like,
right.
Oh well, this is exciting because you won't see it for 10 years.
Yeah.
At least Game Freak,
you're gonna want to use.
You're gonna be excited.
At least Game Freak understood that. Or understands that about games. Like instead with like BDSP, they didn't give us anything,
Yeah.
The Game Freak's like, we got to give them something.
Yeah.
To like make them want to play this.
So my thought process is, this is what I'm thinking. I think it'd be, yes, they could give us Chessman, Fennekin, Froakie. Here's the thing, they could also, no, that's true. I think
that is very less likely.
No, this is what I think. This is what I think. Because Greninja is such a big deal, right? Greninja is like Charizard. They're not changing Greninja. The Kalos set of starters, also because we're in Kalos, and because they're beloved, the Kalos starters will not get new regional forms for their evolutions.
Except for Greninja.
No, I don't think any of them. They could get Megas.
I think Greninja does.
I don't think Greninja gets a new regional form. No.
You said it yourself. It's just like Charizard. Do you know how many forms Charizard has compared to Blastoise and Venusaur? Like,
yes, but Charizard doesn't have a regional because to me, no. Here's the thing. I think a regional.
True.
I think a Mega is the base Pokemon is still the beloved Pokemon. If we get a regional Greninja, they run a risk of the design not because the Pokemon that you have, the regional form of Greninja is not actually the Greninja that people love. Do you know what I'm saying? So I think the Kalos starters, because Greninja is beloved, would get Megas because the base Pokemon is still the beloved Pokemon. So my thought, this is what I'm thinking. I think because it's a Legends game and it's a new adventure in a new area back in time, right? There's still not a full-on settlement. I think we get a set of new starters like in Legends, and it could be, it could be these three, whatever, right? It could be whatever you want it to be. And then those are going to get collision forms, or whatever they're called in this region. But halfway through your adventure, those are Sylveons, halfway through your adventure, these Kalos starters, these from the perspective of the player in Legends Zeta are basically the Kanto. These are the nostalgia. The Kalos starters become the nostalgic starters that you get. If you're playing through Legends Arceus, right, the legacy Pokemon of those games that you get revealed to the player, like 3, badges in or whatever, it's the Kalos starters. Does that make sense? And then they get mega evolutions, just like in the original X and Y game, you get the Kanto starters and access to their mega evolutions. That's what I think.
I agree. I think that it's totally possible that we get the 3 new starters, like you're saying, that they're a mix of different ones.
Yeah.
And then those might have regional forms.
Yes.
And then you also get a choice between the 3 others, the Kalos starters, like you're saying, and they all have megas instead. Yeah. That would make total sense to me.
Yeah.
It's a lot.
You said it way better than me, but that's exactly what I think. Yeah.
Yeah.
I just think that makes sense, and it feels more of a presentation, right? It's like you're playing through your game, and it's new, and it's like, okay, this is automatically different from X and Y, and then you get to a point, and they're like, what do you want? Chespin, Fennekin, and Froakie, and I feel like that becomes more significant to your playthrough, right? You have a new bond with a new set of starters, but you also have this like, whoa, like I used Fennekin back in the day. I love Fennekin, right?
Yeah.
Like it feels way more important, and Bulbasaur, Charmander, and Squirtle are like totally irrelevant until you get those later on, finally, and they're like, here's your Charizard Z. That's actually a wild card. They could give us.
We're really gonna get Charizard Z.
We're gonna get a Charizard Z and a Charizard A.
I honestly could.
I really think that the Z megas are gonna be the thing. Like all of the new ones are gonna be Z megas.
Love that. I would take a Mega Charizard Z and be so happy.
It'd be cool.
I don't, because I don't want it to get.
Make it Fire Dark.
I don't need. I would rather another Pokemon get it instead of Charizard. That's the thing. Like I like Charizard. I just want other Pokemon to get forms instead of Charizard.
Right, but that's the thing. It's a bit like the conversation with like the Convergent or Regional Fate, whatever you want to call them, Mons. It's like people are like, it's a waste of a deck slot. But it's like it's not like if those were not in the game, there'd be something else instead. There would just be less Pokemon.
Yeah.
So like if Charizard gets one, it's not taking the slot from Spidops. It's just it just so happens that he said yes it is.
Spidops! Come on, bro.
Spidops needs more than a Mega to help it. It needs an evolution and then a Mega.